The line between cooked and almost cooked is literally death, so.
Christy Scott has formally accused Desmond Scott of infidelity in court, officially ending the social media power couple's marriage.
Today we will be discussing the Scotts. I will be discussing the Scotts. She gonna be here. Oh, there she is. There she is.
According to divorce filings obtained from Harris County, Texas, Christy explicitly listed Desmond's alleged extramarital affair as the reason for the split, stating that it completely eliminated any possibility of reconciliation.
What do you think so far?
I mean, so far, I'm.
What do you think about marriage and social media and how that could affect your relationship?
It's tough. I think that because social media is a different type of exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the differences between exposure and public exposure from my generation, which is more like acting, Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
To social media, it's became more bringing your personal world into the public limelight, versus where when you did acting and music, performing arts, your personal world, there were no cameras in there. Your partner wasn't able to just whip out some sort of camera and just post something publicly, to where everybody's seeing everything. So, I just.
Yeah,
I feel like it's became a lot more difficult to, be private.
Christy and Desmond met when they were just 14 years old, grew up together from adolescence into adulthood, married in 2014, and share 2 sons. More importantly, they were not just a married couple, but a tightly bound family content brand. They built their following through jointly created videos. They also co-owned a production company called Make to Be Films, which specializes in wedding and love story filmmaking. As of now, representatives for both Christy and Desmond have not responded. But one thing is clear. This breakup is not just the end of a relationship. It marks the beginning of the dismantling of an entire influencer family business.
the content always comes first. It's sometimes, not with us, but I imagine like once your base gets so big, not only are you continually thinking about ideas, but you're thinking about how you think people will engage with you. So you have to keep up with new material all the time. So the camera never necessarily goes off. You know what I mean? The act never shuts off. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you're always on. And I would think that it would be hard to live with someone that is always, because I heard it was her brain, it was her thing. For me, he always seemed kind of like the background dude. And, not saying that that's always the case. He was clearly a part of it. He'd be laughing in the background, but it was always her doing the thing, coming up with the ideas. And, that would be taxing, you know what I mean? To like always just be there and someone pop up in your face with a camera like, hey babe, hey, it'd probably be annoying a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were times where I would see videos of her waking him up to some shenanigans, and it obviously looked like he was, because the camera would be hidden. Because there's a lot of material where you see couples and the camera's in their face. You know that they're obviously just playing the role. But there would be a lot of scenarios where she had the camera hidden, and she was catching him off guard. And there were times where he'd be getting woken up, or he'd be walking into some ish, right, and just kind of like, But I think that reality, this is where it comes into personality and value match. They were kids. They were 14 when they got together. And as you grow up, you start to learn and become a different person, and so who she was becoming and who he essentially, I guess, was becoming, it just, was two different things, you know. She was becoming louder, wilder, you know, more. And
did you see that?
What?
Her becoming that?
Yeah.
Oh, you seen her
like,
videos as from here?
Yeah, he used to laugh louder, and then it just kind of became like where he just would like kind of look and kind of like shake his head or nod his head. And they would try. There were videos where they would try, or you know, they would have like a real video where, you know, they would be interacting in real life, nothing, you know, chaotic or anything like that. But yeah, you would see like in the beginning he was more expressive, more with it, you know, kind of, and it wasn't so out there. But then things became more extra, and it just seemed like he was more reserved, kind of. And maybe he just through the years was realizing like, this is not gonna stop. Is this a lot? If this were to keep going, is this who I am? You know, like, you know, because he didn't partake. You see couples also who partake in each other's stuff. He was always just reacting. He wasn't interacting. He wasn't like playing with her. He was just kind of like
a background. He was a prop.
He was the participant. He was
he was like
an audience.
Passive. He was a passive participant.
And I've seen other couples, you know, where they create a space and they're both interactive, and those are the ones essentially where it's like their values seem to be in more apparently, allegedly.
You know, they didn't know that it would happen this way, you know. Apparently they just started and then it just kind of blew up and then became something. So it's not like they set out for it. But you also think that we can do this because, you know, we're bound to one another. We're bound by history. We've been together since we were 14 years old. We're bound by religion. We're bound by love. We're bound under God. And the only thing that could take us apart is infidelity. And you wouldn't cheat on me now, would you? Of course not, babe. You know what I mean? Like, and then the reality is like, you know, who knows why? If that was the reason that he decided to use that to get out of the relationship, I would say one part I get it, but other part I would say, man, you are wild. But I understand the stronghold that religion has on people. You know, it's not just what are they?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, you know, it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, it's Christianity, or it's you know, or Catholicism, or you know, or Buddhism, or whatever it is that you believe in. These religious outlets have strongholds on people's hope. You know, on their wills, on their souls, on the possibility of what could happen in the afterlife. You know, and it gets deep. So. And it can be liberating, or it can be very, very brainwashing.
Right.
And you know, so I can understand why he's like, well, this is the only way I can get out, man. I'm about to go find me something real quick.
Yeah, not for religious purposes or reasons, but I've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
I guess in some ways, maybe that's the only way to burn the bridge. Some people are looking to burn the bridge, like, because some people, maybe she was willing to, because of the pressures of, you know, the brand that they had built, she was willing to forgive whatever, or try to keep them together at whatever cost, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe he was just like, I have to burn this bridge.
Do you think that he could have just said that he committed adultery? Or do you think he actually did it?
No, you know what? I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but a part of me just feels like he just said it.
Maybe he just said it.
Like, unless there's actual like proof and evidence that, like, you know, like texting and photos and videos.
Yeah.
Unless there was actually that going on. But in his statement, he said that he told her and was forthcoming of it. So I don't know, but there was a feeling for me.
I mean, because you know, man, woman's intuition, y'all be knowing, right? Women, women they be like, we be knowing, women's intuition, we be knowing,
But sometimes some women will know and because of that brand, and I've seen it in a lot of situations where people with a lot of money, you know what I mean, they'll look the other way. They'll look the other way.
Yeah.
Unless it's highly publicized or brought to their attention, they'll just continue looking the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, intuition, we know when something's off, or you know.
And I also understand is like, as you're in a relationship, you know, for a very long time, and you know, there's you feel like you're not being seen or heard like you probably once were. As you're saying, you know, they've been together for a very long time. You know, your priorities do change. You know what I mean? Are you married to the content, or are you married to me? You know, and you know, and it seemed like she was, from what I've seen, you know, it seemed like, as I said before, he seemed very like a passive participant, and you know, she seemed to be more married to the content, while you know, he was kind of in the background. So, you know, yeah, you know, I wish them well. I hope that, you know, they figure stuff out between them. Maybe they can fix their marriage, and you know, who knows.
Or if they don't, you know, that they both have enough audience to follow
them individually.
They both built up a good brand. But I mean, within this is about the connection first and foremost, you know, the family. I hope that they can, you know, repair enough to where they can, you know, restore the family dynamic for their children first and foremost, and also for them, you know. I don't know, it kind of feels to me like she's gonna carry on, and like I don't know, or
just move forward amicably. You know, some like you're saying, some people, you just grow older, and then you grow apart, and that's okay as well. And you have to be mature enough to be able to acknowledge that. And you know, like we were talking about the religion, sometimes you're not able to do that because of, you know, certain, you know, parameters around that. You know, hopefully, you know, they can coexist together as co-parents as well. I know we hate to see that, but sometimes that's just the way it be. And you know, hopefully they can, you know, they can still be, after they've gotten through this, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of pain and heartache and, you know, feelings of betrayal, you know, that they can come back around and have that together, where they still have love for one another, and then they can still have love for the children. Because, you know, let's be serious, like we've seen a lot of divorces and a lot of relationships that has turned completely upside down, where the kids are affected, you know what I mean, and you know, the man is affected because of, you know, his pockets, you know, because typically they may make more money, or even the woman sometimes, you know what I mean. So, you know, and then the secondary party, you know, if her name ever comes out, then you might even hear about her, and then they, you home wrecker, and then now, you know.
I mean, to her, I would say it's hard out there in these streets, girl.
Yeah, man. So, yeah.
There's like a saying on the internet now: you better make it work, because it's hard out here in these streets, boy.
Man, it really is. It's hard out here in the streets. Got her right now. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. What do you think?
Yeah, so just let us know in the comments section below, what do you think about this situation? Thoughts, comments, like, share, you know, the vibe. And we'll see you next time.
Next time.